Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into something so incredibly common, you've probably seen it 100 times without ever realizing the absolutely fascinating biological story behind it. We're talking about sheep. More specifically, we're talking about their wool. And trust me, what we're about to uncover will completely change how you look at that simple, cozy wool sweater sitting in your closet right now.
So get this. Did you know some sheep can grow wool their entire lives? Seriously, no joke. It sounds like a riddle or maybe some weird internet myth, right? But it's a genuine, perfectly documented fact. Imagine for a second if your hair just never stopped growing. Ever. And you never ever naturally shed it. That is the literal reality for these animals. It's an absolutely mind-blowing biological mechanism when you really stop and think about it. Okay, let's dive into this. The downright bizarre reality of our modern super fluffy friends is that they didn't just happen to become incredibly woolly by some random accident of nature. Nope. Many domestic sheep are selectively bred to grow that wool continuously. It's this perpetual, non-stop growth cycle. Basically, they are living, breathing wool factories that just never hit an off switch. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how different today's domestic sheep are from where they actually started. You see, out in nature, their ancient wild ancestors naturally shed a huge chunk of their coats as the seasons changed. Just like a dog or a cat shedding its heavy winter fur when things heat up. But our domestic sheep, they grow wool continuously. There's no shedding, no natural thinning out of the coat, just continuous, nonstop fleece all year round.
Now, you might be wondering, why did this massive biological shift even happen? Well, we actually have to look right at ourselves. It wasn't Mother Nature calling the shots here. It was human selective breeding. Early humans figured out pretty quickly that wool was an incredibly valuable resource for staying warm and making clothes, so they intentionally intervened. Generation after generation, they developed these wool-producing sheep, deliberately selecting the ones that shed the least until, bam, they created an animal that produces continuous wool instead of shedding. Let's move to and see how this builds. It's basically a three-step journey. It starts way back in the wild, right, where their ancestors shed naturally just to survive the changing seasons. Then comes the huge turning point. Humans step in and begin selectively breeding the sheep specifically for their wool. And the ultimate results of all that intervention, the modern sheep we see today, growing wool continuously. It's such a clear, fascinating progression from a self-regulating wild animal to a creature that's been entirely shaped by human needs. But here's the catch. This intervention created a massive modern-day problem. Because they never shed, domestic sheep require human intervention to manage their coats. By changing their biology to suit our needs, we essentially stripped away their natural ability to cool themselves down. They are completely trapped in a never-ending winter coat, even in the absolute dead of summer. What that means is they are completely 100% dependent on us to step in and fix the very condition we created. So, the crucial point is that shearing is far, far more than just a harvest for human clothing. It's a critical healthcare routine. First and foremost, it prevents the animal from overheating, which is literally vital for their survival. Beyond that, it keeps the sheep comfortable under all that immense weight and ultimately maintains their overall health. Shearing isn't just something we do to them, it's something we absolutely must do for them. It really all comes down to this super simple truth. Shearing helps keep these sheep comfortable and healthy. That perfectly summarizes the compassionate reality of this whole relationship. We bred them to need us, and through shearing, we step up and fulfill our responsibility to keep them safe and well. It's this fascinating, deeply intertwined cycle of dependency and care that's been going on for thousands of years. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. Considering the sheep's never-ending fleece, how profoundly have humans shaped the traits of the domestic animals around us? Just think about it. The dogs hanging out in our homes, the cows in our fields, the horses in our stables. The sheep's continuous wool is really just one striking example of our massive, undeniably huge impact on the animal kingdom. It really makes you wonder, what other hidden biological stories are walking right alongside us every single day? Thanks so much for exploring this with me, and I really hope this sparks you to look at the domestic world just a little bit differently next time you step outside.